This video is our second installment on painting tips for our mural. You've probably heard me say pop the top. When I say that, I mean that you are going to be putting the lid on your paint. So you put the brush in the water after you wipe off the extra paint, and then sometimes you have to clean out the dried paint from the top or the lid so that it fits better. You just push it out a little bit and peel it away, and then when you go to put it on the paint container, you're going to put your two thumbs together on one side, and then you're going to go around the circle, and at the other side it should pop on and maybe even make a satisfying noise. If the lids are sealed, the paint will stay nice and wet, and then they will be able to stack on the rainbow table and not fall over. I see some students that just try to smash the tops on. That doesn't work, and in some cases it breaks the container. Instead, make sure that the container is nice and straight and upright, and then do that thumb trick where you go together on one side and meet on the other side, and it should gently pop the lid on without breaking it. Once all the tops are on your containers, bring them to the rainbow table, look at what color goes where, and then stack them up. Again, they should stack nice and tall without falling over if all of the tops are on. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then at the end of the table down here we have black and gray and then white and brown in the last row. I'm still noticing that some tables have not finished doing the lines all the way to the edge of the poly tab. I want you to do this before you paint anything else today. You're going to need to look at the design and see where the lines go, and then add it in with a dark purple or dark blue before you start painting the other sections. Here I have some dark blue, and then I'm just going to look at where these dots are in my color version and see that the line goes all the way to the edge. In this case, there's a triangle shape below. I'm going to finish off that triangle shape right there, and then those lines come straight out from the edge. So just quickly finish up those lines, and now you'll be able to paint all the way up to the edge and know what your plan is. I want you all to have a bucket at your table with water in it and the brushes that you're using. If the water gets dirty, go dump it out and put fresh water in it, and maybe even a squirt of soap to help keep the brushes cleaner. A trick I learned is doing a figure 8 with the brushes in the water to help get all of the paint out. Do the figure 8 both directions, and then wipe the brush on the side of the bucket, and the final step would be to dry it with a little paper towel, and now you should be able to switch colors and have a nice clean brush. Sometimes I'm noticing globs of paint left on the poly tab. These globs take forever to dry, and then they stick to each other when I roll up the poly tab. Plus they may peel off the wall when we actually install the mural. I want to show you a couple of things to do with these blobs of paint to not waste it. A first option would be just to make sure that you spread it out before the class period is over. In this case, the blue background and the blue blob are the same color. Or if you find a blob that's in the wrong spot, like an accident, instead of just wasting the paint, I am actually going to use it like a palette for a second. I see that there is this orangish yellow color over there, so I'm actually just going to scoop some of it up on my brush and use it to paint a second coat over here and try to use up as much of the paint as possible. At the very end, if I still have some left, I can take a paper towel or a cleanish sponge and just wipe it away. I know that it's leaving a little bit of a stain, but at least it's not leaving a glob of paint. Now you can simply paint over that yellow stain with a little bit of blue, and it should cover it up all in one coat. I'm noticing that tables are still painting straight lines without using the ruler. In this case, the book is pretty good, but the line isn't straight. You'll want to grab the ruler from behind the Promethean board and have a couple people hold it in place with a pencil. Do a pencil line right through the middle of the original purple line if you can still find it, and then go right up to that pencil line with the two colors on either side of it. If you don't have a pencil on hand, look on Miss Alyssa's desk, and then have people hold the ruler down so that it doesn't move while you do the pencil line. Now you just have to look in close to see where the pencil line is. In this case, I just need yellow, and I'll go right up to the pencil line. The black is already painted and doesn't need to be changed. Some tables have faces as part of their mural panel. You have two options. You can leave the face for Miss Alyssa to paint, or you can try to color match what it looks like in the design. In this case, people are starting to paint Connor's face. The shape of his hair looks pretty good, and the skin color is fairly accurate. They're leaving the eyes, which I appreciate, but it kind of looks like the nose and the lips were painted over. If you are going to try to paint the face, I'd like you to leave the purple lines as they are and not cover them up. This table has decided that they aren't going to paint Justice Page's head. I will do it, and they'll do the background part. Finally, I just want to make sure you guys know what clean brushes look like. In these containers, if the bristles are facing up, those brushes have been cleaned. Please do not put dirty brushes in these buckets. Do not put them in there if they still have paint on them, facing up or facing down. If they're facing up, sometimes I notice them and can wash them, but sometimes kids stick them in there facing down, and then they contaminate the whole bucket, and I have to wash all of them over again. In this case, I'm looking around to see if anybody has done that, and I see that there's one here that someone has stuck in there, bristles side down, with blue fresh paint on it, which means now I have to wash all of those brushes in there. Don't do that! You should just put any dirty brush in water, whether it's a bucket at your table or in the sink. Do not put dirty brushes back here. Finally, some of the groups are getting close to finishing. One thing most of you will need to do is a second coat of color, especially over the yellows and the oranges and reds and whites, so that it doesn't look as see-through, making the paint more opaque. Doing a second coat also is an opportunity to clean up any lines that look messy. This is an example of a completed panel. This group did all of the painting all the way up to the edge. They followed the color guide. They did some really nice ombre fades and some of that patterning in the background, and they used a ruler to make their edges nice and straight. This is Edgar's elbow, and our next step will be to line it up with the mural panels next to it to see if everything lines up like a puzzle. Your group is getting close to finishing. Make sure all your lines are straight when they need to be. Make sure that you have the same colors as the design, and then we can write done on your design sheet to know that this one has been completed. And finally, when you leave your mural panel to dry at the end of class, please bring your design sheets and the color guides back to the front table. Put the color guides in the green bucket and lay out your design sheets. These days are going to be graded for LT1 grade, collaborating with your peers. I'm looking for students at their assigned table group, working on labeling their sections, painting their sections, and helping others at their assigned table. All right, let's do it.